I'm here with Mike, and here's a very interesting booth here at the New York City Vegetarian Food Festival, and this is fermented food. Now, Mike, well, tell us a little bit about fermented food. What are they, and why should we be eating them?
Okay, so Badass Organics produces fermented products. We produce kombucha and 4 varieties of fermented vegetables, a number of hot sauces and ketchup, and some energy shots. Everything's fermented.
Okay.
And the reason that you want to eat fermented food is because it's really good for your digestion. So almost every culture in the world has a history of fermented vegetables, with the exception of modern American culture.
Now, this is a little bit different than pickled vegetables, is
Right,
it?
it's old-fashioned pickles. So back a few hundred years ago, for 7,000 years, pickle was the same as fermented.
Okay.
But with all the modern technology, people realized that it was easier to boil their vegetables in vinegar, make them shelf stable, and then pickling came along. So pickling does not have the same advantages as fermented food, although they do have similar flavors.
Okay.
So raw, live fermented foods are typically fermented with lactobacillus, which is similar to the bacteria that is in yogurt.
So is that what people might commonly know as a probiotic?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Lactobacillus is a very common probiotic. And they've done a lot of studies and found that the lactobacillus in fermented vegetables is much more resistant to stomach acid. So it lives longer in your gut, and it helps produce a nice, healthy ecosystem in your digestive system, which in turn boosts your immunity and keeps you nice and healthy.
Okay. Now, obviously, some of the fermented food, sort of in my mind, I might think that's food that's kind of gone off a little bit. I've eaten some fermented foods.
Right.
At what stage? I mean, what stage are we looking at here when we're consuming this?
It actually is food that's gone off, except it's gone off the way we want it to.
Okay.
So we control the speed of the fermentation with salt and temperature.
Yeah.
So almost all fermented foods have some quantity of salt, and what we found is that salt encourages lactobacillus growth and discourages pathogenic bacteria growth. So it gives the lactobacillus a head start, and then that takes over. It decreases the acid level in the pH level in the food, so that you end up with a finished pH of around 3, which is a very safe level.
Okay.
So it has that kind of tart flavor. It has that kind of funky flavor, but it's controlled.
Okay.
So it's very, very healthy.
When you were doing the introduction, you used a word, perhaps some of you may not have heard, kombucha.
Kombucha.
I mean, that's a very exotic word. What is kombucha?
So kombucha is a fermented tea. We think that it's been around for about 3,000 years. It originally comes from Western China, and it's had a renaissance. It had a renaissance in Germany in the 40s. It's having a renaissance now since around 2000, 2005 in the United States. And basically, it's a sweet iced tea that's exposed to a probiotic culture. And the culture consumes a lot of the sugar, resulting in kind of a tart, a little bit bubbly drink that's very refreshing, and it's a nice alternative to soda or fruit juice.
Exactly, is that right? Okay, great. So I believe we're going to let me try a little something here. So what are we going to try?
This is our spicy raw slaw. It's our version of kimchi.
Okay, great. We love kimchi.
Thank you. And this is a little sample for you.
All right, let me try this a little bit here. All right, and this is the spicy one?
That's the spicy one.
I asked for the spicy one.
You asked for it.
Oh, wow. That's really spicy.
It is very spicy.
Well, I mean, I like spicy things. So that's pretty good for me.
All
but
right.
I would say for people...
Well, we have some that aren't quite so spicy as well.
Sure. Wow, that really reminds me a lot of kimchi.
Right.
Absolutely fantastic. To get that nice kind of like tingling in my mouth afterwards.
Right.
And I get that sort of fermented feel about it. So,
Good.
yeah, absolutely delicious. And what other type of flavors do you make?
So we have one that we call tangy, which is like a fancy sauerkraut. We also have one that's made of kale, collards, and dandelion greens, which that's our biggest seller. It's beautiful green color and really healthy. And then we have a flavor we call verdura, which is a mixture of vegetables. It's cauliflower, peppers, carrots, turnips, onions, and it's really pretty mix of colors. And then our latest entry are these two little energy shots that we have.
Wow.
So this is the liquid from fermented vegetables, so it's full of probiotics.
Yeah.
With a little bit of green tea for a little energy boost, some ginger, hibiscus, and astaxanthin, which is a really powerful antioxidant.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can take one of these with you.
Well, thank you very much.
Right.
I'm going to need a little bit of this, I think, working,
Absolutely.
and you'll need some work in here all day.
Yeah.
But that was absolutely delicious. I still feel it in my mouth, and thank you so much, Mike. I'm Kevin Schuker here at the New York City Vegetarian Food Festival.